Today we're doing something we've never done before on the Infinite Franchisee Show. We are speaking with a panel of amazing female business owners who happen to be Infinite franchisees. That's right. They're in our Infinite Franchisee program, and these are clients that are killing it in all kinds of different ways and industries across the country. And I thought it would be very beneficial for all of our listeners to hear from actual business owners and how they are moving from that employee mindset to an entrepreneur and infinite franchisee mindset. So today we're welcoming Cheryl Parrish, who is a boutique owner out of Eureka, Missouri, Mary Armstrong, who is a garden supply store owner out of Florissant, Missouri, and Cheryl Torres, who is a gym owner out of Odessa and Midland, Texas. She's got 2 locations, but I'm going to let them introduce themselves. So for a quick little introduction, Cheryl Parrish, tell us about you.
Well, hi, April. I'm Cheryl Parrish, and I am the owner of the Rose and Hook, which is a gift boutique located in Eureka, Missouri. And I am a brand new owner of my newest location, Lillie James Boutique and Gifts, also located in Eureka.
Awesome, awesome. Mary, tell us about you. You're muted, Mary.
My name is Mary Armstrong, owner of 314 Garden Supply, where we help farmers and gardeners, home gardeners, improve their soil health, increase their crop yields, and live healthier lifestyles.
Awesome. Cheryl Torres, you're up.
Hello, ladies. You look wonderful. Thank you for having me, April. My name is Cheryl Torres. I am a United States Army veteran, a registered nurse, and I am a business owner of a kickboxing gym, 2 locations. We empower individuals to live a healthier lifestyle by getting them stronger physically and mentally.
Love it. All right, ladies. So you all are part of the Infinite Franchisee program. We've mentioned that, and we get to see each other multiple times a week, usually on Zoom. But very recently, we had one of our VIP intensive in-person events, and all of you attended. And that's where I want to focus our conversation today, is really on the power of an in-person event and how, and the speed with which you can have shifts when you're focused at an in-person event versus when we're doing it, over Zoom in 1-hour meetings, even when we get to meet up to 9 times a month. So with that intro, I'm going to really just let you give your thoughts and have a discussion about it. And I'll open it up to you. Cheryl Parrish, I can tell you're thinking, do you want to kick us off?
Sure. I can kick it off by saying I probably am like a lot of business owners. When you think you can't get away to do something like an in-person event, and you have this mind struggle on whether or not is it the best use of my time, because we all know there's always something to do when you're running a business. And so for me, I had so many takeaways from the in-person event. It was by far worth way more than 2 days, for sure. I mean, it was really eye-opening in a lot of different ways for me personally, because I was able to just get a little bit quiet, get really focused on my business without being pulled in all sorts of directions. And it let me really see the importance of spending time where you can absolutely focus.
Mary, Cheryl, do you have anything to add to that?
I would say that I totally agree with Cheryl. But with me, it helped the networking as well. It basically, like I said, helped you focus on that time for your business to help it grow. It gave me a sense of getting out of my normal element into a different environment. And like I said, networking with business minded women. And in person, it was more hands on, I guess, to a certain extent, that if you had a issue at that moment, it can get resolved and you can see it in real time, unlike waiting or being rushed within an hour on Zoom or whatever. But I really enjoyed it, and we basically got to go around and view other businesses, unlike our own, like I said, getting out of our regular environment, and it gets your mind open to new possibilities, I guess.
That's a really interesting point, Cheryl, because, one thing I hear from a lot of business owners is, well, but do you understand my industry? My industry is different. My business is different. And here we had an in-person event, and the businesses were all very different.
Correct.
And yet what the business strategies were that we are discussing and applied the same across the board. Would you agree with that?
I do.
Yeah. Mary, how about you?
The in-person event was amazing. Being able to be in a room with women who have had years of running their own business was an eye-opener, and it really gave me the courage to be able to think of different ways that how they run their stores. I asked Linda with LB's, how many events does she have to keep the engagement up of her customers, and that helped me realize, I could apply that mindset to my store. There definitely was mindset shifts during that 2-day event, and it helped me give the confidence to be able to take the next steps in the next level of what I need to do marketing wise, and putting myself out there for the 314 Garden Supply.
Yeah. And you've already taken some pretty big actions, because the in-person event was really only less than 10 days ago, I think. And you've already taken some pretty big actions, Mary, in your business. You mentioned yesterday that you started going through a different module inside the Infinite Franchisee, the Sales Mastery module, and had already begun seeing some results by changing your sales approach. Do you want to talk about that at all?
Yes. One of the things I took away from the in-person event that a lot of the other, a lot of owners came up with, we came up with as a group, was a cheat sheet of combining bundles to get to a certain average price point. I went back to my team and asked them to come up with the cheat sheet together. So going back, one of the ways I implemented it was I had a customer just grab one item. She was new, never had been referred to by a friend, and walking around the store, she grabbed that one. It was this little ounce container. And I was like, oh, did you know that we have a bundle for this? And she's like, oh, what's the bundle? And it was something to hang your herbs after you've cut them and harvested, and also a pair of scissors. And she's like, oh, I'd love to take that. And that, having that cheat sheet available, it helped me pull things. It got my mind running of oh, okay, what can I get her excited about? And I love the enthusiasm that came from the customer, because it kept me going, what's the next person going to be like?
Yeah. And it all comes from finding those gaps and solving those problems, right? That's what we figured out. Okay, awesome. Well, that's I'm so excited for you because you've shared so many wins between that and then implementing the way that you're selling and the way that you're asking people questions, and then that's helping you get higher ticket items sold and lots of good stuff. Cheryl Parrish, you had you also have put things in place since the in-person and actually taken action. And I think this is an important thing to highlight because a lot of in-person events we go to and we hear a great speaker, right? We hear someone speaking to us from stage. It's a great speaker and they have a couple of great things that are making you think. But how do you leave that and actually put those things into action? And it's one of my goals that you don't just learn what you need to do at an in-person event, but you learn how to do it and you're able to immediately take action steps, which you've done, Cheryl. Can you tell us some of the things that you've been working on?
Oh yeah. So during the in-person event, it was really really cool because we talked about the 90-day sprint, which was, what do you want to see happen in your business in the next 90 days or 120 days if we want to go on to the end of the year. And, I'd been through this lesson with you once before on Zoom and felt like I had a pretty good handle on it. However, at the in-person event, there was just, for some reason, I didn't have all those pieces to the puzzle, even though I thought I did. And so it was really cool the way you took us through that again, and not only teaching us how to create a strategy, for that next 90-day push, but like you said, really teaching us how to do those things. Now, you didn't come up with everything that we need to do, obviously, but I was able to take that information back to my team. My leadership team and I met. We talked about our, what do we want to see the next 90 days? How do we want to implement it? We were able to put some events in place that are going to help us reach our goals. And I feel like we're, on a good track already for that 90 days.
Cheryl, how about you? What from the event have you been able to take back into your business?
So just as the other ladies said, implementing what you need to have done within the next 90 to 120 days. So basically, how Mary said, upsell your product to increase your revenue, setting events to bring in more people into your business as well as getting revenue from that, and actually retention for me, so basically continuing to keep my members engaged to where we can keep them as members and then getting them to bring in others as well.
And we did talk about a big celebration event for your Midland people, but you're going to hold it in Odessa because you have two locations, and that's going to be coming. I'm excited to hear how that goes for you as well. Now, something that we did that might have surprised you all, we kicked off the in-person event with a little peek into your subconscious. And I do think when we do that, it is a unique aspect to our events, because we always want to look at business holistically, because life is holistic, right? We can't just pay attention to one thing in life and be fulfilled. We have to pay attention to all of it. And that's what swag really embodies, is sanity, wealth, and gratitude. And that gratitude piece does require some introspective attention on ourselves and intentionally looking to how we can evolve. So I'd love to hear what your thoughts were on that exercise and any what you are feeling at the time or what you've taken away from that.
Well, I'm not going to lie. It's always uncomfortable anytime, anytime anybody wants to look inside of what's really going on and under that surface. And that is not a comfortable place for me at all. However, my big takeaway from that exercise was that a couple of things, like the standards and the time constraints and all those things that I'm trying to do. Nobody's putting those things on me except for myself. I somehow have this idea that I need to run my business a certain way so that it looks a certain way to other people, and you know how my success doesn't have to look a certain way. And so that exercise right there kind of, it was almost like a reality check for me. So
I think for myself, how that exercise went was, like Cheryl said, uncomfortable, but it helped me see the inside of you. April, you had mentioned how my dreams were not as jaded as the other ladies that were in there, and that came from just like the non-experience that I've had from being in business for only 2 years. After the 2-day event, I started to realize, like, oh, I understand where these women were coming from that tree exercise, and I'm starting to feel it now, like how these stressors are right there. And I guess the stress came from, okay, how do I get to where my dreams were from like a year from now, 4 years from now, and really stick with it, because the commitment is the biggest part, and not just trying to go the escape route. Yes, so that was my big takeaway.
Well, and I think we did point out how yours was more whimsical and kind of like bigger dreams, not so focused on the how to get it done, but instead, what do I want? And now, as you continue to dial in and you continue to learn more business strategy, what you're getting exposed to is you're getting exposed to the how to make it happen. And this is why in the event too, we are encouraging you. So you want to have that balance to be able to, yes, take the steps to begin to implement it, but not lose the ultimate vision and dream of why you're doing it. And that's where many business owners go wrong and end up not enjoying their businesses anymore, is that the how becomes so overwhelming. The time constraints, the all of the to-do list things that need to get done, all of the responsibilities of having employees, all of that takes so much of your attention that soon that dream part, yes, you know it, you're aware of it, but it doesn't have the power that it once had, because it's like way back here. It's like way behind you and kind of like this cloudy thought in the back of your mind, instead of being the lighthouse, the guide point that we're shooting for. And all of the little things we need to do to get there are just the stepping stones in the water, that if you keep going forward, but you should have your eyes on the lighthouse, right? And so so it's really interesting that you see that and you recognize it. My encouragement to you would be, acknowledge that, but don't let it slip to the back of your mind, right? Keep it in the forefront. Cheryl, how about you with that exercise?
That's what I was gonna voice to Mary as well. Yeah, we are a little bit more experienced, but your vision as well is young, and it is a good dream. So continue to push forward with that, and don't let age or anything hold you back, I should say. Like in the gym wise, we like novice kickboxers because they have no bad habits. So continue the way you are, learn the way you are, and push forward. But for me, you know, as April said, yes, being in the business a long time kind of dampers that vision if you don't see it. Or my dream, I see big, and I have better future ventures for myself other than where I am, but my passion is always helping others. So,
with that tree exercise, one of the big things that I really enjoy doing with that is I think it illustrates so well how you can believe you're in control. You can believe that, you've got all these moving pieces that you're concentrating on, but your subconscious is actually always there kind of pulling the strings without you realizing it. And that's one of my favorite things about that exercise. Did you guys get that? Did you guys see that out of it when we went through it?
Like I said, those are the uncomfortable parts that you pointed out.
Yeah, it's like I read your diary, right? Oh, well, this has been an awesome conversation, ladies. We try to keep our podcast episodes to about 20 minutes, and I want to be respectful of your time and everyone else's. So let's just do a quick wrap up with a question of like, all right, so in person events, if you're giving advice to another business owner who possibly has the opportunity to go to an in-person event and is questioning it, how would you tell them to measure whether or not that in-person event is worth, or maybe how to look for an in-person event that is going to provide the type of experience you had, where you're saying, oh my gosh, I was scared to take 2 days out of my business, but it was totally worth it. Before, like, think about that. And as a caveat to that, without that two-person event, what would the last 10 days have looked like? Right? How different would the last 10 days be if you hadn't attended the event?
for me, I totally agree with you ladies. And also, you know, it gets you out of that hamster wheel of going and going and not, you know, seeing any progress. By that 90-day sprint or whatever, it helps you focus on the future and, oh, that's what I was missing, you know. So more of fulfillment in that area, as well as get you out of your normal environment and help you recalculate everything and feel better about yourself and help your business grow. So definitely I would agree to do an in-person event as well.
Well, my last 10 days would have been totally different because I would have still been going, and doing all the things that I was doing leading up to the event and not had that mind shift, as you call it, to, just bring your focus back to where it needs to be as a business owner and not just always working in your business. As far as somebody who's considering going to an in-person event, I was shocked whenever I got back. I did a little bit of journaling and I realized how many takeaways that I got out of the event. And honestly, even on the first day when I sat down and saw the agenda, and I'm like, I'm not sure that this doesn't look like much on paper, right? But then when you get into the meat of those things and you're just taking the time to do it, the amount of clarity that you can gain from it, the amount of just being intentional with your time during those 2 days is a lesson in itself, So for me, I would say keep investing in yourself, and going to an in-person event like that is a very wise investment.
I agree with Cheryl in that it is an investment, and what after the 2-day event, that put a light under me and motivated me that I can get to the goals that I had for my 90-day sprint. There are so many more opportunities that I didn't see that I had before the 2-day event. And I didn't have any questions coming in for the first day, but the second day I asked them. I was able to talk to the ladies and get more insight about how their experiences in business have been, and be able to take what I've learned from them and apply it to my own business, and kind of give me the I wouldn't say, well, peace, but like the calmness that to go forward.
Well, our next in-person event is on November 3rd, so make sure you have it on your calendars. And I expect to see all of you there, as well as anybody listening. You can always reach out to us on our website and inquire how you could get an invite to one of our in-person VIP events. They are very small so that we can give this hands-on attention to each and every business that is in attendance. So thank you so much, ladies, for joining us. I celebrate you and everything that you have accomplished, not just in the last 10 days, but in your time with us, and even before you met us, in embarking on this crazy journey we call business ownership. So as always, wishing you sanity, wealth, and gratitude until we meet again.